So if a man is enmeshed to his mother, this is likely to mean that he will be trapped in his mother's world or in his mother's mirror. And so although he will be an individual with his own needs and feelings, when he is around his mother, he will have the need to supply her with the feedback and the responses that she wants and that he thinks she wants. And so he can typically be easygoing, needless, and happy when he is around his mother. Or he can be unhappy if this is how he believes that he needs to behave. And so his true self, his needs and feelings and wants, all the things that represent who he is, will be hidden when he is around his mother. And this is how he can behave when he is around his friends and even his colleagues as well. And so once again, he will be wearing a mask. He will be there to give these people what he believes they want and what they want. And so who he is will be hidden. And these people can believe that this is just who he is. So they might not even be aware of the fact that he is wearing a mask and out of touch with himself. And so his whole life, or most of his life, can be one big performance. So it won't matter if he isn't a performer for a living, because this is what he will do day in, day out. And as he is living in this way, as I said, he is going to be estranged from his true self, and so his needs and feelings will be overlooked. And this is going to cause him to suffer, because if he was purely an extension of his mother and of others, but his mother in particular, then it wouldn't matter, because he wouldn't have his own needs and feelings. He would just be there for them. But as this is not the case, it will mean that he will be neglecting himself. And so a lot of his life he is going to be running on empty. But out of his need to behave in the same way, he will repress and suppress how he really feels and what is going on for him. And this could mean that he will end up having a breakdown, but sooner or later he is no longer going to be able to maintain this act. Soon his mask will end up falling down. But until that point, until he gets to the point of no return, let's say, he will continue to wear this mask and to be who other people want him to be. And if he was able to wake up and to see what is going on, he could struggle to understand why he is behaving in this way, why it is as though he is trapped in an invisible prison. Because from the outside it will appear as though he is free to behave however he wants to behave, but on the inside this won't be his experience. It will be as though someone or something is in control of him and he has to behave in a certain way. And if he was able to take a deeper look, what he may find is that if he was to embrace how he feels and just to think about expressing who he is, as opposed to how other people want him to behave, let alone actually doing this, he could end up feeling guilty and ashamed, and he could feel as though his life is going to come to an end. So he could experience a lot of fear and anxiety. And most likely this is due to what took place during his early years. So when he was growing up, during his formative years, he would have been used most likely by his mother to meet some of that adult and unmet childhood needs. So he had to be there for her. And if he expressed his needs, he probably would have been disapproved of, punished and or abandoned. So he would have learned very early on that it simply wasn't safe for him to exist, let alone to express who he is. And so he would have become estranged from his body and ended up living up top, because living up top would have allowed him to tune into his mother's needs, and due to all the pain that he experienced through not getting his needs met, it would have been too painful for him to be in his body, and so he would have gone up top. And many years will have passed, of course. He will no longer be a powerless and dependent boy, but he will carry the trauma in his body. So his mind will have moved on, and mentally and physically he will have grown, but emotionally he is likely to be developmentally stunted. And so at a deeper level, if he expresses himself and no longer wears this mask and freely expresses who he is, then he can feel once again as though he will be harmed, or as though his life will come to an end. And so in order for him to step out of his mother's world, to drop this mirror and to be authentic, for him to express how he really feels and for him to express his needs. So if he is happy, then he can be happy. If he's not, then he can be unhappy. If he is angry, he can be angry. Doesn't mean he has to cause harm or be destructive, but he can be authentic. And then he can feel really alive and connected to who he is. And in order for this to take place, he will need to work through his trauma and emotional pain. And this is not going to take place overnight, but providing he does the work on himself, it will gradually take place. So if you're a man and you can relate to this and you can see that you've been trapped in this mirror, supplying people with the feedback that they want and what you think they want, and you have lived a very miserable, lonely and disconnected way, then you may need to reach out for the assistance of a therapist or a healer so that you can gradually change your life, because you are not here to be an extension of anyone else. You are here to live and to activate yourself to live your own life. So please reach out for the assistance that you need to gradually transform your life. To find out more about the services that I offer and how I can assist you on your journey, go to www.oliverjrcooper.co.uk or email me at info@oliverjrcooper.co.uk. I'm looking forward to hearing from you.